Good afternoon, welcome from Cyprus. This is Joolsey from Joolsedesigns and JT Creations. If you're a subscriber, welcome. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome as well. Now this is the second part of my spring journal. Now in the last part it was too big. I'd made the cover out of cereal boxes. Because being here in Cyprus, I don't have a lot of stash with me. I was unable to bring my craft room, basically. So I was limited. I did bring my digital kit with me. And there is a link, there is a video to show the digital papers. Now what I did do was, I have shown some of these on video, and I made my own stencils. So I did offline cover and do nice stenciling on the backs of the digitals. I did them all different. I did them with the bubble wrap, I did them with polythene, and I tried to use all the spring colours that I've got in my digital kit, my envelopes, and that was, so they've all been done. I will ink the edges. I do have a trimmer with me, and it is an X-cut trimmer. It's not the one I normally use. Normally I use the big Fiskars, but this is quite cool because mine's a little bit broken. It comes with a couple of blades. The one that I've got in is the squiggly one, so you get a straight blade and you get a scoring blade that leaves, I don't know whether you can see, like a perforated cut. So it is ideal. It does expand to 14 by 12, so it's 12 this way, but it goes to 14, 15 that way. So it is quite a decent trimmer. It's easy to, take the cartridges out. And they just fit in. And there's only one way they can fit in, so you can't make a mistake. And it just pops in there. It cuts along that cutting line. These do come out and you can replace them because you can turn them over so you get two uses, and I think they come in packs of 3. I got this when I was demonstrating for Do Crafts, and I used it quite a lot, and it was easy to put in my big craft bag. And sometimes I wished I'd brought I could have brought that with me through customs, but I don't think they would have allowed it. But as you can see, I've made a mistake. Now, would a crafter's day not be a crafter's day without a mistake somewhere along the line? So what I'm going to do is I am going to try and rectify my mistake. So it's this one. And you can see, it's the orange paper, and it's a bit wonky, caddy-wonk, or whatever you want to call it. And that's how it cuts. And that's the frilly edge. It's not quite a deckled edge, but it's a frilly edge, so it's just finding out where. We'll put that one there. So that's that one. And we'll just put that. This is the other one. So enough about the trimmer. So the trimmer is X-cut. Doesn't have anything on it, but just does X-cut. And I used to demonstrate at the range and a couple of other craft shops, but I know the range do stock it. So again, I actually made myself a fern stencil out of the cereal liners, and I quite like that. So I used a mixture of greens and yellows on that one. That one I just used like a cloth and just dipped it in the paint and the inks that was left. That's the one I showed, the one I actually did the demonstration on the video. Again, and you can go wrong with the stencils, you know, if the sponge is too wet, it will go underneath, but to me it's turned out all right. When do you see a perfect leaf? If you look closely at flowers, none of them are perfect. That maybe needs a little bit more, but it's just got the fern leaves, and you can see them. I'll see if I can find... And that's all I did. I actually drew the leaves and then just snipped them out. And yes, you have to hold it. And it is better using inks rather than paints or wet inks, and just sort of like daubing it on. But it's turned out all right. And at the end of the day, it was sorry about that. It was a freebie. It was made out of a cereal liner. And as I say, I'm not an artist. That was just a drawing that I did in pencil and then in pen, and then I cut out. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start filling in the signatures. I'm not sewing them in, and in with the kit comes some sheets of ephemera, which I have shown. These are the sheets. I brought 2 sets with me. So you've got the blank labels, you've got the folders, and you've got the pocket. You've got an envelope, you've got some tickets, and you've got the labels. And I used, I think it was typewriter font, and it's just all words that remind me of spring, salad days, colourful, chirping, flowers, heyday. And that was the other one, and that's just a tag shape that I made from a label, and then put a circle on the end just to give me that fancy tag shape. And you've got tabs and circles. I did mean to put some smaller circles on for using for a policy folder, but I've got plenty of papers that I can, and I've got my little tiny punch with me. I would normally use a little bit bigger punch for a policy button, but that will do just as well. So as I say, I've cut these out. So I've got quite a few of these to use, and obviously I've got those other sheets if I need any more. But I do want to use some of the sheets. So I think what we'll do is we'll start in this one. I don't always go for the first, second, third page. I just pick a page that I like. I'm just going to check that I've got this up the right way. These envelopes, they need sticking down because I've got the pockets that way. The envelopes and the other signature I've got opening that way. So I'm just looking for something that I want to do a slanty pocket. I think I quite like that. I said, and I want to make some kind of tuck spot because I like those colours. And as you can see, I didn't exactly manage to cut the tops off those pages, but not to worry, you can put ruffles on them, anything. And we will make some paper ruffles because all the paper edges that I cut off I've kept, and I will make some ruffles out of them. And I don't have a lot of ribbon with me, so I think what we'll do is we'll make it with this one. And I'm just looking at my digital papers to see which one I will use now. I've got a big pile here of end papers and everything. So what I'm looking for is something that will go with that, because it'll go on both pages, which I quite like that. But I think that one might be too matchy because it is pale. I want something quite bright. That's too green. Right, I think I'll use this one. So what I want to do is I want to do 2 pockets on there. So what I'm going to do first is take the rest of the signature away, and I'm going to measure this. And that's not quite 10. From the edge to the middle, it's just under 5. Right, so I will use my trimmer, and I am going to put the straight edge in. And it's got like a, I don't know whether you can see them. You can feel them, so they go on the outside. They're only on the one side, and that helps you lift it up. It's nothing, it's not hard, it just fits in. I'm not affiliated to Do Crafts at all. As I say, I did do demonstrations for them. That was many moons ago, but not anymore. I do like some of the products, and I have quite a few because obviously I did do demonstrations for them. I've still got some of the papers, but I like to be my own person. I like to pick my own papers. Well, actually I make my own now a lot of the time. I still use other people's. I like Pink Monarchs. I've got some of Artie May's papers, Tina's from Foxy Crafters, she does really nice papers. Pink Monarch, I like her papers. Janie B, I've had some of hers. When I first did a bee journal, I used some of Janie B's. Now all I'm doing there is I'm just getting my middle section so I know where to cut. Now I'm not cutting directly on that crease, I'm just cutting a little bit under it. Oops, see, mine's broken. It's broken there. But I'm not replacing it because it just comes in handy to bring away with me. And I've still not cut it enough. Right, so what I want to do is I want to bring it down about this is about the extent of my measuring actually. That's probably why I get wonky lines. I'm just going to trim a little bit more off that. Now, that fit in there. I think I'll take it in. I'll take some off the outside because I like the colours on there. The inside, and this side probably wasn't straight anyway. I don't think the inside's straight now. Oh, dearie me. You do some silly things, Julie. Get over yourself. Right, okay, so we'll need to... Oh, dearie me. See, everybody makes mistakes, but you just turn it into what I call a happy accident. If my pocket's a little bit shorter, it's a little bit shorter. Now what I want to do is... I'm just going to measure this pocket on here because it might be my journal page that isn't. Yeah, see, it's my journal page that's not straight. Right. And again, it's a journal, it's a junk journal. It doesn't have to be perfect. Right, I think what we'll do is we'll put that one on there. That's a bit low down. No, that's going on there because I want this on here. Right, okay. Now I've stopped messing about. Right, I've got a rough edge of where I want to cut. I've just been sat outside by the pool, fussy cutting all those bits and pieces out. It was nice. And I did try and do a video outside, but it's too sunny. Right, so that's perfect. So what we're going to do now is cut them both round about. So I want a little bit at the top, or do I? No, I don't, but I don't want it directly on the corner either. So just a little bit down. Just make sure my paper here is matching. Oh, you know what I've done is I've done it wrong, because that should have been the other way. So I've been silly, but never mind. So we'll do this one. But don't worry, because that can go on another page. But what I usually do is I do 2 pages the same, although you don't see them together because there's other pages within the journal. I just like doing it that way. Now this is ground espresso. I don't have a lighter brown with me. Normally I would use tea dye, walnut stain. Sometimes I use the distress ink, sometimes I use the oxidized ones. It doesn't really matter, it's what you like. At the end of the day, it's your journal, and if you're making it for somebody, you already have an idea in your head of how you want it. And that's all there is. The golden rule to making journals is there is no rules. And right, just and there's no art critics in journaling. Well, there shouldn't be, because what's an piece of art to one person isn't necessarily a piece of art to another person. So if you don't like it, go and make your own. You know, go and do something that you like. I'm not over keen on all these film critics and art critics and book critics. I did communications. I did a degree in communications when I got 37. And one of the things was we had to, you know, learn to write for the papers and that, and write critiques on theatres. And we were kind of attached to the university theatre. You know, they had students, and so we used to go and, you know, sort of like watch theirs and then write a review and everything. And, you know, that's when it hit me that, you know, writing a review just because you don't like it, or they didn't do it the way you would have liked it done. You know, these critics can spoil somebody's, they can ruin somebody's life, and I always think, that's awful. So I was looking for my scissors, but I think it's hidden under the pile of papers that's next to me that you can't actually see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a double pocket on this one. Oh, do you know what? It would help if I took my lid off my glue. Half the time I don't remember to put my lid on the glue. Right, and that's a lovely straight line, isn't it? It's just about as wiggly as my journal's being cut. Oh, my daughter suffers with bipolar, so she's a little bit OCD, and you know, if something doesn't match, she gets a bit twitchy. So, although, you know, I've done things for her, and she loves them. You know, she just says, "Oh, why am I not arty like you, Mum?" And I say, everybody's got an arty side to them. You just haven't found yours yet. Right, so what I'm going to do with this one is, instead of it matching on there, I'm going to do it this side. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I have got some green sheer ribbons and some lemon sheer ribbons that I brought with me. I've got a little bit of lace, because once I get all the pockets in, then I usually go over it and I put the labels on, you know, put my wording in. And that's another thing I love doing, is I love going on the internet and looking for quotes that make me smile, because I think if they make me smile, they'll make somebody else smile. I remember when I was making my bee journal, I made one for my granddaughter, and then I made one for somebody else, a young girl who suffers a lot with anxiety, and, you know, worries about what people think about her, and, you know, it's all sort of like negative and everything. So it was like, you know, be kind, be positive, be the person you want to be, leave negativity behind you and things like that. Whether it works, I mean, it works for me. I suffer with anxiety, and it's something that came on in later life. It wasn't something that I didn't realise if I did when I was younger. Growing up and having my kids, I was like as confident as anything, but I don't know, I don't know whether it's the change or your hormones. I think sometimes when your kids grow up and that, maybe it hits you then, you get empty nest syndrome and you wonder what's left in your life. But yeah, so one of the things I learned to do was, like anything that I was worrying about, was just write it down, put it in an envelope and leave it. That was it, gone, disappeared. And it does work for me. I'm not saying it'll work for everybody, but I mean, don't get me wrong, some worries you have to speak to somebody about. I mean, my husband, he's really good. I can talk to him about anything. Even the price I pay for my crafty stuff. You know, he just goes, if you need it, you need it. I am lucky, I suppose. All right. So that's that. So I think what we will do is we'll leave that there. I'm going to put that back in there, and then we'll just go through it. But as I say, that is my first 2 pockets, and they look nice and sort of like with a label there. I've got some stamps that I will put in. I might do a little bit of you know, to sort of like do some more stenciling, you know, put a couple of ferns or something. I have got some fussy cut flowers, but as I say, once I've done the initial getting the pockets in, then I will decorate it up. So thank you for joining me. Now I will make some paper ruffles off camera, and some bits. I have got a video that shows you how to make the paper ruffles, if you want to see it, and it is called paper ruffles, so if you look down my list, you will see it. And it was just doodles that I'd done. I just doodled on a page and did it on camera, and then cut it into strips like that. And all I do is I just go up like that. I mean, they're not perfect ruffles. And just stick them. And, you know, and sometimes I cut them again thinner. But when you're putting them on a pocket, you know, just sort of like a little tiny bit, you ink them. This one's not as colourful as... But, you know, you would ink it. You can either put it along the bottom, put it along there, put it a bit further in, put it along there, put it along the edge of your paper. You can have big double ones. And yeah, it is nice to have the ribbon ruffles and the material ruffles, but sometimes we don't have those. And we don't have the money to go and buy a piece of material. So next best thing, paper ruffle. And you can even get your kids to do some splashing with coloured paints that the colours that you're wanting to use for your theme, and use them. Okay, so thank you for joining me. If you would like to see, you know, see the full journey of making this spring journal, please subscribe. I would be most appreciated. Leave a message if you have a question. Leave a question. I do get back to anybody that, you know, that leaves a message or anything. But as I say, just subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed doing it. So bye from Cyprus. Bye.